Hey practitioners, I know you want to resolve musculoskeletal pain for your clients, and I know you want to be efficient at it. I want the same thing, and I also want to save you a whole boatload of time and about $10,000. How am I going to do that? Well, if you've been training for a while, if you've been a body worker for some time, you have already trained. You've done lots of training certificates, you've learned a bunch of techniques, and each of those techniques costs several hundred or several $1,000s to learn. The thing about techniques, though, is that if there was just one that was the answer, we'd all know it by now. We'd all be doing the one. There isn't just one, which then leads you to the next training and the next training. But more importantly is that while techniques are great, they are the long road to the ultimate goal, which is that you want to solve pain and you want to be efficient at it. I did the same thing. I took a lot of training with techniques, and what I thought was that the skill that was needed from me was to readily assign each of those techniques to the problem that was presenting itself, meaning the client's pain, and that if I assigned the right technique, that then I would be skilled. But that's not the skill. The skill is having a deep understanding of anatomy and functional anatomy and being able to sift through all of that depth of knowledge to know what's applicable in the moment with the client that you're working on. And you could be learning anatomy and sifting through anatomy for a lifetime and still not be clear. So that's also not the shortcut. What you get to have is enough knowledge about anatomy, physiology, functional anatomy, and what's applicable to be able to answer in the moment with your client, why is this happening? How did this happen in the body? And what's needed from me to remedy it? Because once the clients come to you with a pain point, what they've come to you with is when all of that anatomy has gone awry, right? Not how it's designed, but that something went awry in the design or there wouldn't be any symptoms. And what techniques address, what techniques treat are the symptoms. But you don't want to treat the symptoms. What you want to do is resolve what caused the symptoms in the first place. And techniques don't resolve the source. Techniques treat the symptom that came from the source problem. So in order to resolve what caused the problem, you need to be able to know what's underneath the symptoms and how the symptoms came to be, which means you get to understand the nature of muscles and how they became unhappy and the nature of how fascia binds in the first place, not just a technique to go after one of those two things. If you're going after bound fascia, what you're going after is a piece of the whole, which takes you out of the holistic nature of the body's design, which means that you're no longer able to synthesize everything that's happening with the client to be able to resolve the pain point that you want to resolve that they came to you for. So I'm going to save you a lot of time in getting you to that answer quicker, getting you through to the applicable anatomy that's needed quickly. I'm going to sift through. I did all the sifting for you already. You're going to understand anatomy and physiology and functional anatomy through and through. There won't be any questions anymore. And I'm also going to teach you a clinically proven method that resolves pain at the source. And it's been around for a long time, and we've been resolving pain at the source simply. It's not easy, but it's simple. If you're working hard or if things feel complicated or complex, it's probably because you're missing one of these two things, either the depth of knowledge of functional anatomy and the nature of when things go wrong, or the methodology on what to do with that information once you've identified it. So come get what you came for. Let me pour into you. The Schatz Methods Practitioner Mastery Program is only offered once a year. Now's the time. We start at the beginning of July. If you're even remotely interested, if you have questions, if you want to talk about it, you can go to the website, theschatzmethod.com. There's a big pink button right at the top. It sends you right into the information about mastery. There's another button at the top of that, which sends you right into my calendar if you want to set up a time and see what else there is for you. You get to have what you want. Your clients get to have what they want. And it gets to be quick. It gets to be simple. It's not easy to be really excellent. It takes commitment. But once you've made that commitment, your work becomes really simple. All right. I'll see you soon.